But at the same time, the deepness of the white friends of the girl who is trying to understand her, I'm really thrilling, because that's the film that you should go watch at the movie. It really gave me a scent at the back. It's all included there. The white not understanding, but at the same time, the white emotional, the white sensitiveness, the black balls, the black's opinion, the black respectiveness, the black opinion, the way they are speaking, the black perception of the white and the white perception of the black, but at the same time, their romanticism in Star and his relationship with the white man, the white compound position and behavior of understanding Star and standing next to her. I really believe that this is a movie of 2020. This is a movie for 2020. And more than that, I will say that there is, or other than the simply soundtrack of Tupa, what is very disappointed is that the movie was built and released upon a budget of $23 million of budget, and he only obtained $34 million because it was underrated. It was underrated because the screenwriter Andrew Wells, of course, willingly to portray a teenage situation, she didn't go down experimenting more deep level of conversation, but actually there are scenes that make me thrill, that make me really think, oh my god, they are talking about real things. The whole interaction between the Star and the Bronx, between the Stars and the Westminster University, between the Stars and the two story, the two scenery and universe she's facing herself, makes me think about the production that I would love to realize about what I lived also as a white between a polished poor people and high society in the photography academy. It's the same story, just different people, but it's the same shit, it's the same concept. Poor people, everybody at the bottom, everybody is involved, not wholly black, everybody is involved, everybody, and that makes us united 100%. I will give this film a 9 point, and I have to say that I don't want to be sentimentally involved too much or personally involved, but when I watched for the first time at this movie, I was at the Rome Film Festival, and I remember that Zeki, the Arabian guy that you have seen in one of my episodes in the YouTube channel, the one about the coronavirus, he was a Turkish doctor. He was studying medicine. He came with me in that moment to watch the film at the mainstreams, and I remember George Tillman was sitting in front of us like 5 rows. He was in front of us, and I remember that when the movie was finished, I stand up and I cry all over. George Tillman turned his back and he saw me and the other friends, me and the other nationality guy standing over, completely moved and touched by the scene and touched by this emotional level. And that moment was precious. I saw the director's eyes looking into me and thinking, I got you. You got me completely. Because the point is that even the girl, the main protagonist of the story, is committing her mistake. She is human. She's sometimes quarreling and even thinking that she can enter into the thoughts of the white while she's making mistakes sometimes. She's having prejudice as well because she's not able and enough mature to arrive at that level. But the message is beautiful. The hate you give little infants, which are the children. It's not only about black or white. The hate you give to everyone and the hate that you are brought to think since you are born is wrong. You have to speak. You have to communicate with the others. You have to make a relationship with them before judging them. Really, I'm super motivated and I'm really happy that I shared this experience with you, that I shared what was happening actually during the premiere of the Rome Film Festival. The Hate You Give. The problem with this film is that it was intentionally underrated because the thought, the reflection was very powerful, and it was intentionally made to make us united for the same purpose. And I'm sorry to say, and I'm trembling while I'm delivering you this information, but the media are trying to separate each other. They want to create a sort of uncomprehensible way of thinking. There is not such interaction. We are not craving for this interaction. And I'm really happy that George Tillman was provoking at the point of having the courage to, at the very end, make a gun appear in the hand of a child. I deliver you everything in just one word. In just one sentence, I deliver you an entire topic. So, the very end, I would love to conclude just mentioning and giving you a hint about the next film that you should watch at the cinema. I don't want to go on promoting maybe the story of Obama and Michelle Obama, because the romantic some Southwest with You that it was released, it was a more romantic comedic situation. It's less political than what you think. It's more something to enter into empathy with the character of Obama, which is really interested by the way. But we have also to remember that also Obama made his own mistake during the rural political side of it, because he delivered a lot of people to make attacked at the Serbian war as well. So that should make you reflect that every person with the power in their hands could be dangerous. Another film that it should be released into the cinema in 2020 will be Harriet, the story of this other woman slaver. And it's interesting that now we have a woman slave and not a male slave. I hope that it's not going to be told and narrated in a very heroic way, because we don't need hero in this era. We need anti-hero. We need to make understand the people that we are all at the same level. We are very humble. We have nothing in our hand. So in order to become great, as much as prospective as Bill Gates will probably provoke us to think, we have to collaborate with each other to make something huge and to reach our potentiality, our humanity, to arrive at the point of making great things, even starting with zero in our pocket. And I have an announcement message important to give you. So, starting from this point of view, after all the crossover that I made, what is the message of this episode? The message of this episode is that this film production, Acarcera Stewart, wants to be different, wants to purify your thought. It doesn't want to make you think like the others that you are watching that are actually freedom movie, while in the end you will find yourself more conspirational than before. It will make you reflect about the power of your humanity and the fact that you can make a difference. It doesn't matter if the black person that you have in front of you, or the white person that you have in front of you is coming from that same story. You have to speak to each other. You have to individually try to understand the deepness above each other, above the background, because you are more similar than what you think maybe. You are fighting for the same freedom. You are there to do the same thing together. That's the point. You are there to find the freedom together. And a second thing is that even if that person don't understand you, try to change his point of view. Try to do it, because you will take out from this conspirational side, you will take out from the bad side another person. You will make some feel useful because you purify your mind. Just do it. Just try to do it. It doesn't matter if you fail. Just try to interact with this person with all your body. Don't be like any other politician that passively make you accept that condition. React. Try to make someone take your point. Accept what this person is delivering you. Accept the fact that maybe she doesn't or he doesn't probably defend your side, only when you have fully understand that they can understand you. Only when they have taken into consideration everything you passed. Only when they know you. Show them how to behave. Like I was doing with my African friends. Sometimes he didn't know how to react in certain situations, so I teach him, not like order him. I teach him, I show him, I taught him how to present himself in front of an European mindset, so that he can easily be perceivably considered like from the other officer, like someone that is not integrated into our culture. But give them a clue. Don't let them alone. It's not because they are not smart. They are very smart. They are able to defend you if you are alone in a desert island with all the aboriginal against you. They are able to give you a clue on how to respect their culture. But if you don't share this communication, if there is a barrier, it's impossible to humanly create a future. It's impossible to see each other completely released from the situation. Try to go beyond. And even if the answer is no, you would have tried and you will be in peace with yourself. Believe me. That's the first things that you can do proactively and actively. Well, the other point is that before leaving you, I would love to read a passage from an interesting book, which of course is A Long Way to Freedom by Nelson Mandela, president. And you have to understand that a person told me, a special person in my life, that I consider an intelligent guy, told me that I have to be the inspiration of myself. And he's right. I don't have to have an icon, because I can inspire the other people and I have to be my own icon, my own personal icon. But sometimes I am motivated by seeing the story of other struggling, even maybe people of a certain age that were able to make out something incredible at the very end and earn a lot of recognition from a good cause. One of them is Nelson Mandela, Madiba, of course. To conclude, I've robbed to spend just some little words on a person that I cannot mention, that is a cinematographer that is coming from South Africa, and he also worked in New York, that I'm following very actively on the social media, and he also has his own website, but I don't want to promote it too much because I'm not completely sure if you like the intention of this channel, so I would love to be discreet and to safeguard his own right, as it's completely coherent to the message that I'm spreading. And he's doing a great job in portraying the African taste of his country in a very pacific, solitary way. He makes things happen without using screenwriting, but only images. And he's so appreciating the taste of this photograph, and the gentleness, the kindness, the elegance is embracing the purifying even fashion style, because yeah, it's commercial, but with his airy camera is making this fashion beauty appear neorealistic. And I just would love to support that kind of production more than ever, and I'm inspired by his work since I was little, and I hope one day to collaborate with him, and if possible to go on even building a strongest but really inspired film production that will change our point of view, not only about this topic but at 360 degrees, believe me. That's why I invite you to stay always present at Tucker Sarah Stewart 24 hours a day. The last things that I will say, I hope that I will give you a scent of what it was really is going on with George Floyd. It was not only about the propaganda about another person, and it was attack about a police officer. It was something deep. It was something talking about our right of thinking, of producing, of behaving, of acting. And I will soon also show an episode next time maybe of white farmers in the South African course, and I will try to find some useful film production related. But I will go on even with my own film, with my own company, and I'm really happy to announce that I'm soon going to show also my art direction abilities and my art direction collaboration on a new project about ecology and system virtual houses. So do not forget to subscribe and be ready, and looking forward next to meeting us again with this incredible inspirational idea that will also challenge Amazon. So I'm going to read the passage, as I would love to be very respectful to and faithful to the words they were mentioned by Madiba in his book. And the fact is that it's always very delicate, as I said, to find the right stroke and rule that will represent mostly the concept. But I think the most interesting passage is part of the fourth chapter that is called The Struggle in My Life. And he started with this mention trying to portray the relationship in this South African Cape Town continent between the Supreme Court and Hans right as well, and also the difference that the same black people were having between each other, the same void and the same kind of black the black community was having between each other, the civil situation and opposition. And I start with a simple request. I requested that the magistrate begin the case, and I will bring in my certificate in due course, but the magistrate refused to hear the case, even going so far as to ask as a court officer to evict me. This was a clear violation of court practice. The matter eventually came before the Supreme Court, and my friend, George Bezos, an advocate, appeared on my behalf. At the hearing, the presiding judge criticized the conduct of the magistrate and ordered that a different magistrate must hear the case. Being a lawyer did not guarantee respect of our court either. One day near our office, I saw an elderly white woman whose motor car was sandwiched between two cars. I immediately went over and pushed the car, which helped free it. The English-speaking woman turned to me and said, "Thank you, John." John, being the name whites, used to address any African whose name they didn't know. So usually white used to call John every black man in the South Africa. It was a universal sort of adoption. She then handed me a sixpence coin, which I politely refused. She pushed it towards me, and again I said no, thank you. She then exclaimed, "You refuse a sixpence. You must want a shilling, but you shall not have it," and then threw the coin at me and drove off. Really rude. Within a year, Oliver and I discovered that under the Urban Heritage Act, we were not permitted to occupy businesses premises in the city without ministerial consent. Our request was denied, and we received instead a temporary permit under the Group Areas Act, which soon expired. The authorities refused to renew it, insisting that we move our office to an African location many miles away and virtually unreachable for our clients. We interpreted this as an effort by the authorities to put us out of business. And occupied our premises illegally, with threats of eviction constantly hanging over our heads. Working as a lawyer in South Africa meant operating under a debate system of justice, a code of law that did not enshrine equality, but its opposite. And as we know, this is not so much different even from the Italian Republic, even from the French democratic era, even from the United Kingdom monocratic system, and even from the American absolutism. So, we are entering a new system. We are not want to be conspirational, as we don't need to be conspirational because it's evident. They want to have more and more imposition over us. We just have to avoid this transformation, but stay united, as a matter of fact, without considering our race and without making statements upon colors which are not meant to be ever, ever.